Starting a business can be kind of messy. Whether you're starting it or starting a new idea or a corporation, you've got to have some things in place. And I'm going to talk to you about those 5 things. So whether you're selling technology, real estate, or speaking from a stage, you've got to have some ideas and some tools in place so that you can move your business along. These 5 things that I have done, I could sum up 3 of them in an acronym called PBS. Starting with plan. A PBS is like a public broadcast service, so plan. You need a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you'll be part of someone else's. If you understand it takes a lot of preparation and money to launch a new brand, more time in the preparation will cost you less money. So identify the resources that will be required and then inventory what you already have or you can reuse. Now, planning won't eliminate the guesswork, but it will reduce the cost to launch your brand. Planning also includes identifying who your ideal client is. Who is your avatar? What do they want? What are they challenged by? In other words, what problem do you solve and who will pay for it? And is the problem big enough? Well, if it's big enough, somebody will pay to fix it. The more you plan, the more you will know about your business. Then, budget. This goes hand in hand with your plan. If you understand what resources you need, you can set a realistic budget that won't have you going back to the drawing board when you exceed it. The most important advantage to a budget is that it helps you stay on course. It eliminates the I needed-itis. You need a good CRM, a fast Wi-Fi connection, and a phone. Then, figure out what you must have and put the I wants into a separate budget that you can plan for in the future. Having a budget won't eliminate surprises or setbacks, but it will help you understand if the budget was realistic or if you have a problem spending on things that aren't necessary to grow the business. A budget will help you make informed financial decisions because every business boils down to numbers, and you need to understand what yours are. Number 3, schedule. I like to say that if you don't have sales, you have a hobby or a sales problem. When you figure out who your avatar is, who your ideal client is, and what problem you solve for them, you can determine if you're able to deliver it. But don't deliver it in a sales funnel or endless emails or text messages. You actually have to have a conversation with them. And believe me, it's not as scary as you think. Treat a conversation like an investigative reporter and find out just the facts of your ideal client's wants by asking them. They buy what they want, not what you sell. And make sure you schedule the time to do this or you'll whittle the time down with excuses and problems that always pretend that they're urgent. So be easy on yourself and start with 2 calls, then a half hour, then add. But find the best time that works for you and be consistent. Schedule it, because if you don't schedule it, it won't be important or habitual, and your business will suffer for it. The more you practice, the better you get. There's an old saying in sales, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I like to think of it like this: the more I practice, the luckier I get. And this only comes from scheduling it, because no one can practice for you. And number 4, stay in your own lane. This is one thing I wish somebody would have told me when I started my own organization, and how to stay in my own lane. See, we tend to get excited about our business, and believe me, that's a really good thing, because there will be times when we're not. That enthusiasm can also entice you to add more products or services to reach a bigger audience. You may have heard that there are riches in the niches, and it's true. Although you may want to reach everybody with a one-size-fits-all message, unfortunately, it doesn't. You want to look for the ideal client, and believe me, it isn't everyone. It's the one that wants and will pay for your product or service. Niching down helps you do that. You may have the entire highway in front of you, but don't be tempted to change lanes. If your niche is successful, you can always grow or add something on. But if you try to be something to everyone, you could go broke trying. And number 5, never waste a crisis. One of my friends runs a division of Hewlett-Packard, and during COVID lockdown, no one could travel, including her. People had to figure out how to get around the one issue that every business had. How do we keep our business moving forward? How do we keep the doors open? Although many businesses failed, the ones that succeeded and even thrived figured out how to get around the obstacles and overcome them. She said her business grew by over 280%. Now, how does one company grow over 280% and others fail? By adapting and innovating. We all know what Zoom has done for business, and when she couldn't travel internationally or even go to the local store, she adapted to Zoom. When the time and cost to travel was eliminated, she discovered she was able to spend more time and develop better relationships she wouldn't have been able to do in her prior traditional business model. Another example is when I wrote Miracles on My Doorstep. After launching it, Russia unfortunately invaded Ukraine 2 months later. Now, nobody could have figured this out, but my family is Ukrainian and left Ukraine decades earlier and migrated to America. Ukraine became a trending topic about the impact of immigration, and coincidentally, that was exactly what my first chapter covered. It was even the subtitle of the book, Immigrating to America, Faith Finds Freedom. There have been endless opportunities, exposures, and interviews with online media, newscasts, informational talk shows, and countless about this book. The unintended consequence of this crisis resulted in a huge uptick in book sales. And while it was unfortunate that these situations exist, in the crevices of those crises lies opportunity. I hope that these 5 items that have served me well will somehow find its way into your business and planning. I'm Linda Kay. Thanks for listening.